the Attorney General, that he was able, unlike the tweets that we saw, which clearly said that these suspects, or some of them, would not be released, at least the Attorney General has indicated the willingness to have the court order implemented, notwithstanding, of course, instances where he must have read these orders upside down. Right, Honorable Speaker and Honorable colleagues, as the Attorney General was communicating, I have been really touched and concerned about a number of issues. The Attorney General knows very well that a person can only be held in prison on a valid warrant. The order of court, which literally dismantled, and I mean literally, not technically, dismantled the orders of the defunct court-martial, caused the warrants upon which these people were remanded to expire. But in the case of retired Colonel Dr. Kizza Besigye and Hajj Obeid Kamlegea, even without the orders of the Supreme Court, the warrant itself was expiring on Monday, yesterday, and it did expire. So, my question to the Attorney General, currently for these people or persons that are being held, on whose orders, on whose valid warrants do they continue to be in prison? The second, Right Honorable Speaker, relates to the DPP liaising with the General Court Martial. What is the DPP's business? The DPP is empowered under the law to commence prosecutions against any person of her choice, provided there is evidence she has before her. The reverse is not true, that the DPP goes around fishing for cases. Number three, Right Honorable Speaker, but this time they are telling the DPP to be the one to go around fishing cases from persons that have been conducting business illegally. Do not forget that until Friday, 31st, there was a decision of the Constitutional Court which declared that this is not a court of law. So whatever they've been doing, they secured an interim order from the Supreme Court, and the order was to stay execution. Execution in this case was purely the transfer of files from the General Court Martial or from the Courts Martial to the civil courts. You could not stay a declaration. You can't stay a declaration. That declaration, that interim order, was used by the General Court Martial, not DPP, to continue and to commence fresh prosecutions. Thirdly, Right Honorable Speaker, from the Attorney General's communication, I have not even had anything to do with timelines. Timelines, so as long as they are doing their consultations, these people can be in prison now on orders of the Attorney General. Where, under the law, does the Attorney General get the powers to remand or continue an illegal remand or to detain? Literally what he has done is to amend the orders of court. Finally, I received information from the Honorable Semuju.
Thank you very much.
Relating to what you did not know that Honorable Kiryowa Kiwanuka can do. Right Honorable Speaker, I do not want to end at criticizing and critiquing my brother. I think I want to give some way forward. If I were in his unenviable position, this is what I would do. From Friday through to Monday, I would not sleep. I would require the information from the General Court Martial relating to all prisoners that are held on orders of the General Court Martial, now deceased. From that point, I would advise government to sieve out all political prisoners, matters which are not pure crime, and say, let us go and do the honorable thing of withdrawing. That someone can continue to be in prison, and the Attorney General is busy advising on somebody who was putting on a beret, a red beret, whether he should remain in prison. The third thing I would do, and for more than four years now, third thing I would do is to advise the police to immediately approach the General Court Martial, obtain all those files where we feel it is pure crime, a suspicion of crime, not suspicion of politics. Then I would advise that police would get those people from wherever they are upon release. But for you, you cannot say you are complying with the court order without releasing these people. At least do the ugly thing you've been doing of arresting them at the entrance or exit of the prison, the same way you've been arresting them from court. But any continuity in detention is illegal. Finally, I am concerned as a leader in this country. Immediately upon release of the judgment, Colonel Chris Magezi, who is said to be an assistant to General Muhoozi Kainerugaba, issued a statement which he called the official statement from the UPDF. And it was clear and categorical. They shall not be released until General Museveni, the Commander-in-Chief, gives us orders to release them. And that is the basis upon which we challenged the constitutionality of the court-martial, because it is dependent on orders of the chairman of the High Command, who is General Museveni. Membership includes his son, who is now tweeting to say we cannot release. Mr. Speaker, for how long are we going to continue like this as a country? You have a dignified Attorney General. That man knows the law, by the way. Even when he chooses to disobey or to ill-advise, at least he knows the law. Now, we receive another statement from the President. Half of it was dignified. The second half was very dignifying. You hear from the President, and what he says that this country is not governed by judges and lawyers, where I agree. This country is governed by a constitution. Anybody who does not want to obey this constitution should give us our peace by leaving. I am concerned about the tweets of General Kainerugaba. You saw when he said that he was going to attack the mercenaries in Congo. A few days later, it happened. How are our neighbors going to take us? You crack a war inside, you crack a war outside. Why? Is it the Constitution, Mr. Speaker?
Thank you.
When the Attorney General speaks, he is the head of the bar. Everybody at the bar ordinarily should keep quiet. I agree with him that a successful litigant goes ahead together with the losing litigant to sign a decree, to prepare a decree jointly. If he was waiting for a decree, what was the basis of his advice? Number two, I am not aware, and he can now educate us, the law under which a losing or vanquished litigant would write to court to ask for which orders. The orders, Honorable Nwagaba says, is self-executing. Is the Attorney General, therefore, in order to mislead both the House and the country that the person who was in court when the judgment was being issued is waiting for a decree extracted by one party?
Mira mukesi gatukubya amasasi ngabo yalalika yasoka namuwa nga 9 June ate nalusembezaako mwezi gumu n'agamba actually kati ebisaza mbijja kubeerawo mu May ow'omwaka guno. Nolwekyo bye babadde bali kutugamba kavuyo keerere. Ekisembayo ekyokuba kubiriza bannaffe abalowooza nti balina obuyinza nga bali mu gavumenti okukola ebyamateeka ebibalagira okukola, kubanga ekikufuula gavumenti mateeka. Bw'obanga totya mateeka tetulina nsonga kukutya, era tewabaawo na nsonga lwaki eyo gy'oyita gavumenti yo bannansi tebajja ŋŋanga. Impunity n'obutamanya, obutagoberera mateeka n'ogoberera ebikulagiddwa ebimenya amateeka si kabonero ka bugezi.